Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Maria and I make personal development content here on YouTube. And so in today's video, I wanted to get on here and talk about how to improve your decision-making skills. And when it comes to decision making, I think sometimes we may overthink it a little bit because we are so um, afraid of getting things wrong, or we're so afraid of like making a terrible decision that's going to be like detrimental, awful, life-changing, all those things. And so that's probably the most important thing. Number one is that we identify what this decision resembles, right? So it ultimately all comes down to trusting ourselves. But if we don't trust ourselves, we can't even trust our decision making. So first you got to figure out, do you trust yourself? And more than likely, if you're on this video, you don't trust yourself because you're trying to figure out um, how you can improve and make better decisions. So number one is making those small steps to start trusting yourself more. And that looks like just literally the smallest things. Like if you tell yourself, I'm going to cook dinner for myself tonight and not order out, you have to keep that promise to yourself because that is you helping to learn how to trust yourself and trust your decisions that you make. And as you continue to do those things, another example is like if you say, I am going to put my first self this week. If I do not have the brain capacity and the space to be able to answer the phone for people that I know only call me when they need something, I am not going to do that. And then you have to follow through with that. And you have to actually not answer the phone for people that you know is only calling you when they need something. And so all of those little small steps right there is helping you to build confidence in yourself and have trust in yourself that you will make the best decision. The second thing is being okay with if the decision you made was not the best decision to make, right? So, like, if you decided that you weren't going to answer the phone for this week because you really needed to have that time to yourself, and you come to find out later on and it was like an emergency or something like that, and then you start to feel guilty or shameful that like you didn't answer the phone and you're like, oh, it wasn't that deep, I could have really just sacrificed that. You have got to not allow yourself to be consumed with that because in that moment, that is what you needed, right? And so you can't be so stressed out with shoulda, coulda, woulda, because if it turned out differently, then and it still worked out for the good of everything, then it's no reason for you to be concerned about the fact that you were not able to be the person to help that person out and that they had to find someone else and they had to reach out to someone else. Um, and that really leads to number three, which is where is this stemming from? Where is your decision making stemming from? Because if you feel guilty or shameful because it was an emergency and that person had to end up relying on someone else instead of you, and now you have like this like guilt and this shame, where is this guilt and shame coming from? Is it stemming from the fact that you only feel valuable when you feel like you can save the day for people and you're needed by people all the time. Um, and everyone needs to feel needed. Like that's not like the point here. Everyone wants to feel needed. Everyone needs to feel needed in their different relationships. But the problem comes is when you see that as your identity or when you start to really all your decisions come from fear. Like all your decisions making comes from a fear of something. And so when you start to identify where that thing is stemming from, like where your decisions are stemming from, and if they are stemming from fear, you want to change that around. So you don't want to make decisions based off of fear. You don't want to say, well, although I'm exhausted, although I'm tired, although I really don't have any more to give, like I've given all that I can give to someone else, and now I really need to be able to replenish myself. and I need to be able to give back to myself, because that's the only way I can even show up for others. Because if I can't show up for me, I for sure cannot show up for others. The only way that you're able to do that is by paying attention to that fear and saying, you know what? These decisions are coming from my fear of something. And maybe it's your fear of acceptance. Maybe you're fearful that, like, if you don't do it, then that person's gonna be mad at you and then they're gonna reject you. And then now you have this like thing of like, well, I can't have them reject me. Then I'm gonna feel alone. Then I'm gonna have that fear of abandonment. Whatever those things are like triggering in you, those are the ways that you'll be able to know if you are making um, decisions off of healthy places, or if your decision making is really unhealthy. And so this is how you improve your decision making skills. You pay attention to where your decisions are stemming from. If your decisions are stemming from fear, you want to like figure out what that fear is and then channel that fear into something more positive. So I could look at it like, oh, well, I wasn't able to be there for them, but I'm glad things worked out. I'm glad that, they were able to find another person to be able to be that support system to them, because now that takes off a load of pressure off of me. And now I won't have to worry about, like, if I don't answer the phone, what will they do? um, that's a way that you can look at it. Like, that is a healthy way of looking at it. Whereas if you look at it out of fear, you're like, well, again, they may not accept me, or now they may be mad at me, or now I'm not good enough, or now I'm not valuable to them anymore, and now I'm not this, and now I'm not that. And that's a negative way of looking at it. And so when you start to evaluate again where your decisions are coming from, now if your decision making is coming from a positive place, then you're fine. Like, you don't really have much to worry about. But the biggest thing is being able to make those decisions and improving your decision making skills so that you feel more confident in your decisions. But you gotta figure out where they're stemming from and follow the 3 steps that I provided. And if you do that, I really genuinely believe that you will start to feel more confident in your decisions. You got to learn to trust yourself. That's number 1. Like, you have to learn to trust yourself, because if you don't learn to trust yourself and be willing to number 2, make those mistakes, or not even mistakes, but just be willing to allow area for you to not feed off of your distrust for yourself and your decision making, and you always got to go to other people and have them validate your decisions and all these things, you will never learn to trust yourself, and then you will never be able to grow in the areas that you want to grow in, because you need other people's approval. And so I promise you, like, if you follow these 3 steps, I genuinely do believe that this will help you a lot with improving your decision making skills. So I really hope this was helpful for you. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check the description box down below. I have some links down there for you. And I will see you again in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.